Hello, everyone. Uh, my name is Dr. Jeff Dories, and I'll be your instructor this semester. I wanted to start by introducing myself. First, there's a picture of me and my family. We love hiking in the outdoors, so we spend a lot of our summers there. You can call me Dr. Dories, or I've had students call me Dr. Jeff, whatever you prefer. So I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and moved to Indiana, PA in 2004, where I met my wife, Jessica, who works in the Office of International Education at IUP. You'll notice that influence of both my PhD program with a lot of international students and my wife's work will influence this course. You'll see that and hear that all semester long. In my spare time, I like to play fantasy football, travel, hike, watch foreign films, write, and play with my kids, Claire and Cole. They were a couple of years younger here, but they're now 9 and 7. I've taught at 3 different universities: Indiana University of Pennsylvania, the University of Pittsburgh at Titusville, and now at Clarion. And these are some of the areas that I focus on in my work. British Romanticism, literature from about 200 years ago in England, world culture, literary theory, body image and eating disorders in literature, and eco-criticism, analyzing literature about the environment. At my previous, this is my first semester at Clarion, so I'm going to ask you to be patient with any hiccups. I've worked very hard to adapt my courses here, but there will always be some oversights, so please be patient and communicate with me about any of that. In my previous position, my primary focus was on diversity and inclusion in the university, and I'm hoping to promote these ideas at Clarion as well. If you'd like to know more about me or my work, I update my website regularly. It's jeffdories.com. There I will have resources that could help students, educators, and also some of my hobbies and interests. My primary method of communication will be through course questions. So right in D2L, there's a section called course questions, and that I will make sure to check as much and often as possible. Any course related question should be asked there. Okay, and you could always click through right here to get there. Anything of personal nature beyond class questions should be relayed to me via email, or you can make a meeting with me via Zoom. Okay, so I just want to go over some basics, especially the first week and what's expected. If you attend the first class meeting, some of this will be reviewed from there, but not all of it. So first of all, you'll begin with the Start Here section. A lot of these are required from the university. Maybe you've looked over them for your other classes. And then some activities here. Okay, this is what the university asks you to do for each class. Okay, then you can go to faculty information. Is that information I just shared with you. Also my contact information and virtual office hours. So you'll see my email address here. Again, I prefer questions to go through course questions. That way, if 3 people have the same question, I can help all of you at once, or people who might have the question in a few days or week can refer back to that discussion board. For personal questions, email or Zoom. I will have a link here starting next week for my office hours that you can click through to meet me in Zoom. My office hours as of now are Monday and Wednesday, 3:30 to 4:45, and by appointment. I'm happy to work with you for a time that might be more useful to you, though whenever possible, the office hours are the best meeting times. Also, as I'll describe to you, on Wednesdays during our class time, might be a good time to meet as well. Just a note here, I'm recording this video for 2 sections of this class, one section at 2 p.m., one section at 5 p.m. So you may see something on here that is related to the other class section. If so, just refer to your class section. Okay, so if we go back to the course content, we have the start here, then the faculty information, then your syllabus and course information. Okay, so we'll look at the syllabus today as well, and your schedule and assignments. Because we transitioned, this was an in-person class, and we transitioned really quickly to online activities. Just please be patient with me for updating your schedule. You'll see as of right now, I only have 2 weeks listed. I'm hoping by the first day of the semester to have 4, 5, or 6 weeks listed. I will get that information up there as quickly as possible. Again, it's a little slow because of the quick transition to online work. Okay, so please just be patient with me there. Okay, so let's look at, I think we're going to come back to the syllabus because that'll take a little while to go through. Instead, what I want to go to is your first week. Okay, so this is your first week. You do all that start here stuff that the university requires. And then here's what each week's module should look like. It should say week 1, syllabus, introductions, begin preliminary research. Okay, for each week there's an overview. It's helpful to read through this overview each week. It tells you what we'll be discussing, the learning outcomes, and questions to ponder, and our schedule for the week. Okay, so like this first week, we'll be looking at the syllabus, getting to know each other, beginning preliminary research, and starting to discuss world knowledge. This class will be working on 3 areas that overlap: critical thinking, research, and writing. When we discuss the syllabus, you'll see more of this, what I mean by this. The learning outcomes for the week: understand the course structure and D2L, understand the syllabus, contact information, beginning assignments, begin preliminary research, and thinking critically about world knowledge. This week, think about the following questions. How much do you know about the non-Western world? Okay, so we're going to discuss the theme of this class, and you can read through the rest of those questions after we do that. So your schedule for the week: attend class Monday, August 17th. And again, if you're the 2 p.m. section, attend at 2 p.m. If you're the 5 p.m. section, attend at 5 p.m. There will be a link in your course shell to do that. And then for Thursday night, you need to do homework number 1, preliminary idea for paper 1. Okay, I go through that in the second video, the preliminary research Wikipedia video. So please view that as soon as possible as well. But basically, it'll just be an idea for your first paper. Then watch that preliminary research video that I just mentioned. That'll be due Sunday. And then homework number 2, preliminary research Wikipedia, will be due Sunday as well. You'll have some discussion questions that you need to write about. That's due Sunday. And then take a short quiz, preliminary research and syllabus. Okay, so you can see by what's due Sunday, you want to start early in the week. If you put this all off till 10 p.m. Sunday, you're not going to get it done in time. Okay, so start this early in the week, get a good idea of what's required, and then finish as you can. And just to note here, the quizzes that I have in this course, they aren't meant to trick you. They're not meant to even test your knowledge so much as to just review and make sure you're catching the points I want you to catch. So for this one, you could have the videos available that I discussed this in, and you can have the syllabus open. I just want to emphasize those points and make sure that they came across. Okay, so back to the weekly course shell. We have week 1 checklist. I want to come back to that in a moment. And then your learning materials for the week. And what we have there is we have your handout packet in Microsoft Word or PDF. That is your textbook for the course. Make sure to save that and possibly print it. Have it open for every writing assignment this semester. That is what we'll be using instead of a textbook. Your syllabus will be linked here, but it's already available. I'll have that linked shortly. A keyword chart that you'll need for the week, and videos and additional resources. You can see one video is already posted here. This video will be posted here. Okay. So now to make sure you're getting everything done for the week, you can use the checklist feature. Okay, so you can see we'll have attend class. And again, if you're the 2 p.m. section, attend at 2 p.m. If you're the 5 p.m., attend at 5 p.m. Then we have homework number 1 due August 21st. Watch this video. Homework number 2 due by Sunday, August 24th. Discussion assignment due the 24th. And take a short quiz. Okay, so you can tick off that checklist as you go through the week. And you'll see, as I said, here's the video. Here's the first homework assignment. Here's the second homework assignment. Here's the world knowledge discussion questions. And here's the quiz. Okay, and I go through these homework assignments in more depth in the second video for this week. Okay, but now I want to return to your syllabus. And I want to, if you attended the first week of the course, you could probably turn this video off at this point. The first class, because I'll be going over this then. But if you would like to review it, please listen to this again. Or if you missed the first class period for whatever reason, please listen as I go through the course syllabus. So my office hours again will be in Zoom, 3:30 to 4:45 on Monday and Wednesday, and by appointment. So this is really important to note. Because we move so quickly online, normally when we're in person, I consider myself a coach, somebody who's trying to coach you with writing. And so we do a lot of one-on-one work, we do a lot of group work, a lot of individualized instruction. But now that we've moved to an online format, I want to maintain some of that individual coaching. So we're only going to meet officially 1 day a week, okay, with one exception. And the reason for that is because this will be what's considered a hybrid course. 1 day a week we'll formally meet. Some days it'll be for the whole class period, some days it'll be shorter. And then the other class period, you'll watch videos, you'll get a head start on those homework assignments, and you'll conference with me for Zoom. You'll need to conference with me before every paper this semester, and so we'll do that on Wednesdays. So make sure, even though we're not meeting on most Wednesdays, make sure you're available to conference with me. Okay. So here's our schedule of when we'll meet. You can see the first 3 weeks we meet on Monday. Then the 4th week is Labor Day, so we'll meet on Wednesday instead during our normal class time. Then we meet on Mondays from September 14th all the way through to the 16th. And then this is the final 2 weeks of the course here. We're meeting a Wednesday, an extra class day there. Main reason for that is you'll have a presentation to do. And so we need an extra class period for the class presentations. Okay. The final exam period I don't have yet, but it'll be sometime within that date range. Okay. And it'll kind of depend on how these presentations go for what we're doing in that period. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. Okay, so a little bit about the course. It's English 111. This course emphasizes the development of critical thinking through analytical and argumentative writing and introduces students to research writing. So quick note there. Anytime you hear the word research being involved in a course, that does mean extensive work done outside of class time. Okay? Um, so you should plan on total for most weeks to be working on this course 3 to 5 hours a week. On a week like this or next week, closer to 3. Closer to drafting and final copy of papers, closer to 5 or even slightly more, depending on how your research is going. Okay, so please know that going in. Research classes take time. So we have no official textbook for the course. Your handout packet that I outlined before and pointed to, that is your textbook for the course. I spent a lot of time making up that handout packet, and so we will be going over it extensively this semester. Please, I recommend either having it saved to your desktop and always available, or print it out so that you always have access to it. When you're doing any paper-related assignment for the semester, have that handout packet ready and available. Okay, so again, it's a hybrid course delivered most of the time through D2L. Each week's module starts on Monday and then Sunday, though as you can see, you have some assignments due Thursday as well. Here's information about technical assistance through the library, or I'm sorry, through the Clarion's tech page. Okay, so now a little bit about this course. So years ago, a long time ago, longer than I like to say, I had been assigned a course very similar to this to teach. And you had to teach research, you had to teach writing, and you had to teach critical thinking. And at that time, there was very little guidance over how to teach critical thinking. And so you look up the definitions of critical thinking, of which we'll talk about. And then my first couple years teaching, I was just randomly pulling out ideas to teach critical thinking with. And it wasn't very effective at all. Okay? So one of the parts of critical thinking is to try to view the world through someone else's eyes. That idea that we have to realize that we are all biased in all different ways, and as much as possible, if we can get outside of those biases and see the world through someone else's eyes, then we can start the critical thinking process. So I'm struggling with this in my courses of how to teach this. And at the same time, in my PhD program, about half the students were from non-Western cultures. Okay, so I'm having all these classes with people from non-Western cultures. I start dating my wife, and she's working in the international office. And so there have been long parts ever since where the vast majority of my off time is spent with people from the non-Western world. That the majority of my friends do not come from the US. Okay? As I'm having conversations with them, I'm realizing that these conversations are enacting the very process of critical thinking. And so I'm struggling with teaching it during the day, and at night I'm enacting it through almost every conversation I'm having. These conversations challenged everything I ever thought about the world, challenged my worldview, changed my the way I knew and interacted with my world. And so it took a few years, but I finally came to the idea, what if I introduced this in my research classes, right? A lot of research classes use a theme, and so I said, what about if we introduce the non-Western world as a theme here? And I thought, well, not all students are going to like that. And we'll talk about that a little bit and why that might be. So I said, how about we have students research something that they are interested in, but then in another culture, right? So something you're comfortable with, something that you're, through your identity, you identify with in some way, but then trying to view it through someone else's eyes from the perspective of another culture. And so that's how this course was born. So here's my quick summary of this. In many ways, writing and research follow the path of globalization. As the world moves towards a global economy, British and American dominance continue in language, literature, and influence, but is quickly receding towards a more global model. The invention of the internet allows Americans unimagined access to other cultures, and at the same time allows other cultures access to the American way of life. In the 21st century, investigating these connections becomes integral to the formation of individual identities, preparing students for a global job market, and represents a necessary part of the classroom in order to remain viable in the global economy. In other words, almost any job you have, you're going to be interacting with the world in ways that just were unheard of a generation ago. Whether it's suppliers you have, clients you have, patients you have, whatever it may be, you're going to be interacting with the world. And if you're a business person, you can make a lot better deals if you understand a little bit about the culture of the person you're interacting with. If you're a doctor, you can serve that patient a lot better than you could if you knew nothing about their culture. For instance, my wife often acts as an intermediary between her students, her international students, and doctors, saying, well, yeah, this student's from Saudi Arabia, and so she really needs a female doctor. Or if it has to be a male doctor, here's how it has to be handled, right? Where if you don't know that, it's going to be very hard to get the information from that patient that you need to treat them, right? Okay, so the focus of this course will be to conduct research on non-Western culture and identity. Good research is at the heart of all academic work. Research is also important outside the academy, from tracing a family tree to buying a car, following the news, or getting a job. People do research all the time for business and for pleasure. This course will focus on research integral in the university, career, and techniques that would be useful in life as well. Additionally, we will examine our place in the ever-changing world and how we can grow in our ever-expanding global environment. Here are the learning outcomes for the course: to develop the writing process and use appropriate voice and style for academic work. This will be done through drafts and research papers. To read and research more critically, identify an author's position, and evaluate arguments. This will be assessed through readings, reflective responses to those readings, and evaluation of sources to be used in your papers. To become familiar with and learn how to access resources, peers, the Writing Center, reference texts, library materials, the internet, that will improve literacy skills. This outcome will be assessed through small assignments, especially what are called formative assignments, preliminary and formal research assignments, as well as in the research and drafting stages of the writing process. Okay, so I mentioned that we're going to be meeting primarily on Mondays. On those days, we might go over a few things for your papers, but primarily that'll be focused on critical thinking discussion. Okay, most of the writing instruction for this course will be done through videos, one-on-one conferences, and comments that I put on your pre-writing, your research, and your drafts and your final copy of your paper. Okay, so as much as possible, I want my writing help to be individualized, and that can be done better through Zoom, through short videos, and through comments on your papers. So when we get together, primarily the focus will be on the critical thinking discussion. Okay, so in general, late assignments are not accepted without making arrangements at least 24 hours before the deadline. Okay, stay in communication with me. The more you communicate with me, the more I can help. So say there's one time all semester where you're late with something, but you really want to turn it in, and you don't get a hold of me 24 hours before. Contact me as soon as you can, and I can try to work out something with you. But if you're doing that 3, 4, 5, 6 times, then it's not going to be accepted. In general, let me know a day ahead of time if you're going to be late with something, and I will work my best to help you with it. Okay, so most semesters will be have about 400 to 500 points total. Okay, and then you can determine your grade. D2L should figure it out automatically. And the reason it's between 400 and 500 points is often depending on what the class needs. I might add or take away an assignment or two here or there to focus on different things. So primarily we will have 2 large papers, a final essay, and then numerous shorter papers and assignments. Okay, so you can see these are the most points. You want to spend the most time on those 2 papers that we work on. I give you a lot of time to work on them. Spend that time. However, I have a lot of small assignments, a lot of assignments that are easy, that are effort based. And if you do a lot of those small assignments, it can really raise your grade a lot, right? I've had students who have C's or D's on all their papers and still end up with A's and B's in the course because they did every single small assignment. Okay. At the end of the semester, you'll have to do a presentation using PowerPoint via Zoom or video, depending on how we talk about your needs at the time. If you don't know how to use PowerPoint or Zoom, we can talk about alternatives, or I'm sorry, PowerPoint, we can talk about alternatives. Okay. Your grades should be posted in the D2L grades area. I typically grade things within 1 to 7 days, though your final papers, I like to get them back to you as soon as possible, but sometimes they might stretch into the 8th, 9th, or 10th day if I have a lot of papers to grade. Also, note on that, I grade things in the order I receive them. So if you turn your assignment in 2 days early, you're going to get it back much earlier than someone who turns it in at 11:59 the night before it's due. Okay. So participation attendance, you're expected to come to the Monday sessions on Zoom. We'll be meeting between 16 and 17 times, and you are required to make at least 12 of those meetings. It should be more than that, okay? Because if you were to miss 4, that's a month worth of meetings. That is way, way too much. But because of technical difficulties, because of COVID, I'm willing to go to 4. But anything, if you get to 3, I want you to contact me so that we can talk about what to do if you're really struggling in this area. Okay. Again, most contact and communication should be in the instructor questions section. I will answer those during the week within 24 hours, on weekends within 48 hours, often quicker than that. And then if you have personal questions, email or arrange a Zoom meeting. If you have problems with technical difficulties, contact the help desk. Let's see. You can read through some of these other, inform me of accommodations, avoid plagiarism. We'll be spending a lot of time on that. We'll be using plagiarism software, turnitin.com, Title IX reporting, etc. There's a lot of information here that can help you, including the Writing Center and virtual library. And then here is a schedule that I'm still working on a bit. Again, this class drastically changed less than 3 weeks before the semester started. So please be patient with me as I rework our schedule. Okay, so that's what I want to go through today. Start on that start here set of activities and move on to your week 1 activities. And if you have any questions, contact me. Have a good day. Bye.